Shalom Israel, it's Kazawan. And the name of this video is, when did people start keeping the Sabbath day? I'm doing this video because, as Israelites, we are required to keep the Sabbath day. However, some people are teaching that we no longer have to keep it because the Sabbath day wasn't established until Moses gave the law. Then they say that since the law is done away with, we don't have to keep the Sabbath anymore. First of all, that's completely wrong. The law is not done away with. And secondly, the Sabbath day was established before Moses was even born. Before Moses ever received any commandment, the Sabbath day was already in place. It was kept from the very first day that it was created. Let's prove it. Genesis 1:27, it says, "So the Most High created man in his own image. In the image of the Most High created he him, male and female created he them. So the Most High, through Yahushua, made mankind, male and female." Let's go down to verse 31. It says, "And the Most High saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day." So we see that man was created on day 6. That is the point that I want from this. Man was created on day 6. Keep that in mind. Now let's go to Genesis 2:1. It says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them." Verse 2, "And on the seventh day, the Most High ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made." Watch this, verse 3. "And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which the Most High created and made." So here we see that the Most High blessed the seventh day and he sanctified it. Now the word sanctified in this verse is the Hebrew word quadash, and it means to make holy or set apart as holy. Now, does it make any logical sense that the Most High would set apart the seventh day as a holy day and not tell Adam about it? Who else was going to keep it holy? We know through the scriptures that the Most High communicated with Adam. So it would be illogical to think that the Most High failed to tell Adam that he set the seventh day apart as a holy day. See, at that time, the man Adam was the representation of the Most High on earth. How could he be that representation if he didn't follow the Most High's example of resting on the seventh day? So Adam was made on day 6, and when day 7 came, the Most High would have automatically told him this day is set apart as a holy day. Now, let's further prove it. Here's a question. Why was the Sabbath day even made? Let's go to Mark 2:27. This is Yahushua talking to the Pharisees. It says, "And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath." Now notice what it says. It says the Sabbath was made for man. In other words, the Sabbath day was made to give man a day of rest from all his labors. So why would the Most High create a day for man to rest on, but not tell Adam about it? That makes no sense. Now let's look at this verse in the Greek, because the Greek makes it very clear. Mark 2:27 in the Greek, it says, "Kai elegan atois, ta sabbatan diatan anthropon egeneto, kai uk ha anthropas diata sabbatan." Now when we translate that into the English, it says, "And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for the man, and not man for the Sabbath." See, the Greek doesn't just say the Sabbath was made for man. The Greek says the Sabbath was made for the man, tan anthropon, the man. So who is the man that the Sabbath was made for? It's talking about the man Adam. The Sabbath was made for the man Adam to have a day of rest. So again, why would the Most High make the Sabbath day for Adam and not tell him about it? Obviously, he did tell him about it. and therefore we know that Adam and Eve kept the Sabbath day. We know that they didn't break it because the Bible doesn't record them doing anything wrong until the serpent came and beguiled Eve. Now, if Adam and Eve kept the Sabbath day, we know that they taught their children to keep it as well. So let's jump ahead a little to the time of Enoch, who was the seventh descendant of Adam. Genesis 5:24. It says, "And Enoch walked with the Most High, and he was not, for the Most High took him." Now, what does it mean Enoch walked with the Most High? It means that he was a prophet. Enoch knew about the Most High and his will through his forefather Adam. Again, Enoch was a prophet, so we know that he had a relationship with the Most High also. Therefore, he would have known about the purpose of the Sabbath day. Now, not only did he know about the Sabbath day, he kept the Sabbath day. Look at this. Hebrews 11:5. It says, "By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found." I have to do a video on this verse too, because this verse doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. But for now, it says, "Because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony." Here it is. "That he pleased the Most High." Now, the only way that Enoch could have pleased the Most High was if he followed the Most High's example. If Enoch wasn't keeping the Sabbath day, he would have been in opposition to the Most High's law. However, the book of Hebrews says that Enoch pleased the Most High. So we know that he kept the Sabbath day. Now let's jump ahead to the time of Noah, before the flood came. This is Genesis 6:7. It says, "And Yahweh said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." So the Most High was going to destroy mankind because of all the wickedness that they were doing on earth. But watch this, verse 8. "But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahweh." Now, out of everybody on earth, why did Noah find grace with the Most High? Verse 9. "These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with the Most High." So again, just like Enoch, Noah walked with the Most High. Noah was a prophet also. Notice it says that he was a just man and perfect in his generations. Now, what made Noah just and perfect? Let me be very clear. It had nothing to do with his DNA not being infected with hybrid DNA. That is ridiculous. The reason why Noah was called perfect is because he was not rebellious towards the Most High like everybody else at that time was. He kept the law. He followed the ways of the Most High. Now, part of following the ways of the Most High was the keeping of the Sabbath day. Adam kept it. Enoch knew about it and he kept it. Noah was of the same family line and he kept it. Not only did Noah keep it, he taught it as well. Look at this, 2 Peter 2:5. It says, "And spared not the old world, but saved Noah the eighth person," watch this, "a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly." So here it says that Noah was a preacher of righteousness, which means that he was teaching to follow the instructions of the Most High. We know that the Most High created the Sabbath day for man to rest on, so therefore, Noah would have been teaching to rest on the day that the Most High set apart as holy. Now, if Noah was keeping the Sabbath, we know that he taught his children to keep it. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 10. Here it is. It says, "And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth." Now we know that Ham and Japheth didn't follow the ways of the Most High, but Shem was the chosen child who did. Shem is the forefather of Abraham. Now the Bible tells us explicitly that Abraham kept the laws, statutes, and commandments. Look at this. Genesis 26:4. This is the Most High talking. It says, "And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed." Watch this. "Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge," here it is, "my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." Now, a lot of people don't like to use this verse as proof of Abraham keeping the Sabbath day, but this verse emphatically proves that Abraham did keep the Sabbath. Let's read verse 5 again and look at the way it's worded. It says, "Because that Abraham obeyed my voice." In other words, Abraham listened to any general instructions that the Most High gave him. But watch this. It says, "and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." Notice that the Most High made a difference between obeying his voice and following his laws, statutes, and commandments. You see, following his voice means Abraham did whatever the Most High told him to do. That's one thing. But what was the laws, statutes, and commandments that Abraham kept? That's talking about the same laws, statutes, and commandments that we are commanded to keep today. Let's prove it. This is Genesis 18:17. It says, "And Yahweh said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him." So the Most High is talking about his relationship with Abraham. Watch what he says about Abraham in the next verse, verse 19. "For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahweh." Now, the Most High said that he knew that Abraham would teach his children to keep the way of Yahweh. So whatever the way of Yahweh is, we know that Abraham's children kept it. So what is the way of Yahweh? This is Judges 2:20. It says, "And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel. And he said, Because that this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice." Now, what is the covenant that Israel transgressed against? It was the laws, the statutes, and commandments. Part of the laws, statutes, and commandments is to keep the Sabbath day. That was one of the main laws that Israel was breaking. You see, Israel didn't walk in the way of Yahweh. They broke the laws. Verse 21. "I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died." 22. "That through them I may prove Israel," watch this, "whether they will keep the way of Yahweh to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it, or not." Again, what is the way of Yahweh that he wanted them to walk in? It's the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the way of Yahweh. Now, let's go back to Genesis 18:19. This is the Most High talking. It says, "For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him," watch this, "and they shall keep the way of Yahweh." So the Most High said that he knew that Abraham would teach his children to keep the laws, the statutes, and commandments. Why? Because Abraham himself kept them, including the Sabbath day. It says, "To do justice and judgment, that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him." So let's look at Genesis 26:5 again. It says, "Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge," here it is, "my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So now we understand that this verse proves that Abraham was in fact keeping the Sabbath day. We also read that Abraham taught his children to keep the laws as well. Now, everybody that we talked about, starting from Adam all the way down to Abraham and his children, was keeping the Sabbath day before Moses ever gave the commandments on Mount Sinai. Now, let's go to Exodus 16 and 25. This is still before Moses gave the 10 commandments. It says, "And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it in the field." Again, this is before the 10 commandments was given to Moses. So how did Moses already know about the Sabbath day, unless the Sabbath day was already known? Verse 26, it says, 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. So we see that Moses gave them instructions about the Sabbath day. Verse 27, "And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none." So some Israelites went out and broke the Sabbath day. Watch this, verse 28. "And Yahweh said unto Moses, How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?" Now, if this was the first time that Israel ever heard about the Sabbath day, why would the Most High say, "How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?" He said that because their forefathers were keeping it at a point, but over time they started to break it. That's why the Most High said, "How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?" See, the Most High couldn't say that if there wasn't a time when Israelites was keeping the Sabbath. They was already aware of the Sabbath, but they weren't keeping it anymore as a nation. Verse 29, it says, "See, for that Yahweh have given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day." Watch this, verse 30. "So the people rested on the 7th day." Now, this shows us again that before Moses gave the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai, Israel was already keeping a Sabbath day. Now, let's go to when the commandments was actually given to Israel in written form. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. It says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Now again, a lot of people think this is the first time that Israel is hearing the Sabbath day law. But this is actually the Most High re-establishing the Sabbath day among the children of Israel. At one time they were keeping it, but they started to ignore it over time. That's why the Most High said, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." He's telling them not to ignore the day and to remember to keep it like their forefathers did before the Egyptian captivity. Verse 10, it says, "But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates." Again, the Most High is re-establishing the proper way to keep the Sabbath day. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5, because there's a very important point in that chapter. This is Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 12. This is Moses telling the story again about how the Most High gave Israel the commandments from Mount Sinai. It says, "Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as Yahweh thy God hath commanded thee." Again, the word sanctify in this verse is the Hebrew word kodash, which means to set apart as holy. Now, when did the Most High make the 7th day holy? He did it back during the time of creation, not during the time of Moses. So think about it. The Most High had a holy day for thousands of years, but he never told nobody it was holy until Moses came along? That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Verse 13, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Verse 14, But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy God. Watch this. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. Why is the Most High going over this with them? Because the children of Israel was forced as slaves in Egypt to work continually. They were not allowed to keep the Sabbath. So it became normal for them to work every day. That's why the Most High said this, verse 15. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt. In other words, you didn't have a choice then. You had to work. It says, and that Yahweh thy God brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. He said, I delivered you out of the house of bondage. It says, therefore, Yahweh thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. So the Most High gave Israel rest from their labor. So now they had no reason that they couldn't keep the Sabbath day. Again, this proves that they knew about the Sabbath day while they was in Egypt, but due to their circumstances, they were not able to keep it. They were slaves at the mercy of Pharaoh, but that doesn't change the fact that the Most High ordained the Sabbath day to be kept. So again, the Sabbath day wasn't something new that Moses introduced. Moses was sent by the Most High to reestablish what our forefathers were doing from the beginning of time. So when did people start keeping the Sabbath day? Ever since the Most High sanctified it and gave it to Adam. Now, before I end this video, please be advised, all general comments are accepted. If you disagree with something that I say, you have that right. However, if you attack me on a personal level outside of the scriptures and resort to name calling and childish, unspiritual behavior, your comment will be erased and you will be blocked. Also, if you disagree with something that I teach, that's fine. You have the right to comment about it. But if you make a comment in disagreement and you don't use scriptures to support what you're saying, I won't block you, but your comment will be erased. Because I deal with scriptures, not opinions. Now, to the sincere Israelites who watch my videos, I'm not talking to y'all. I appreciate you guys for taking the time out to watch and listen. But I'm talking to these immature, non-spiritual trolls who always have something to say. But when you go to their page, 9 times out of 10, they don't have one single video teaching anything. But yet, they want to come on my page and teach in the comment section. I'm not allowing that anymore. So, with that being said, as always, I hope that somebody got some understanding from this video. And with that, I say, Shalom.